In terms of the legacy systems and measurement, legacy measurement, do you see evolution from there? Do you think legacy systems today will adapt? What is your overall feeling about the basis of the whole media industry and where that's going? Big question.
Yeah, it really is. I think, many years ago I was selling Birch and Birch Radio, which was a competitor of Arbitron, and it was very difficult because so much is based on history and historical data and the prices that everybody pays. So to introduce a new way of evaluating this would just take a lot of time. The legacy systems really don't have a very quick way of, bringing new data in. So I think there'll be other vendors that maybe sit between legacy systems to allow agencies to quickly evaluate, but they almost need to take all the data they have and be able to translate it into a different base, because today they're just taking what they did last year and doing it this year, and at some point that's not going to work anymore. So if you're looking at basing for television, basing your decisions on Nielsen data, there's a huge history there over time. If you wanted to look at Rentrack data, how do you do that, and how do you make the client feel comfortable in terms of which numbers are more realistic of what's reflected in the marketplace? So I think it has to be done, and I think different agencies are moving in that direction, but it takes a really long time. I know that, the legacy systems, a lot of them don't even have access to Rentrack data. So, clients are requesting Rentrack data, and then they're, manually, having to build it into their spreadsheets. That will change, eventually they will, but, it's a long time. So people need to move quicker, and I believe their legacy systems are really impeding that movement. And they're trying to figure out a way to, kind of work around that. But when your system, when your internal system is stopping you from winning business and doing business, it's time to really figure out how you're going to move forward into the future.
You're currently working with a company that is doing a lot of work with segmentation and human behavior, user behavior, and yet it all comes back to age, gender for posting, I assume. Do you think we'll ever break through that tradition?
I think we have to. I think people are using that data, to post with, but when they're negotiating, they're using qualitative data, and they're using, purchase data, and they're using, they're looking at, they're making decisions on what to buy using much more detailed data than what they're posting against. And it really just comes down to the price trending, and there has to be a way to start looking at how the industry is going to move from age, sex to actual consumer data, because it's available, and if you can reach out to that individual consumer, you're going to want to do that, and it's much more valuable. So somebody has to make that move, and I do believe a lot of the agencies are collecting detailed data that is not age, sex, and they may be using it to make their buying decisions with, but the seller is using the age, sex, and the client is asking for age, sex. So I think it might be just an educational process, but somebody has to move in that direction. I think all these DMPs provide tremendous value to really hit the consumers you need to hit. And I think more and more companies are using them, and it just needs to expand across media.